Hello, hello. This is a quick mic check for YouTube. Is it working? Idea. Mic check. Testing for Twitch. All right, looks like everything's working. I just need to pop out my chat so I can see it. And then I'm good to go. All right. Hey, oh, almost good to go. My face cam isn't working, so that's not good. Let's see. All right. For some reason, I always have to reset my face cam every single time I I go back to streaming. Anyways, hi Dia, welcome. Welcome everybody else. Uh Dia was first today in chat, and they may have left as well because I was late today. But I have a good reason for being late today. Like the best reason possible, practically. Um I thought I had coffee, and turned out that Michelle had drank the last of it, so I had to make fresh coffee, which I think is completely the most valid reason to be late. That you drank the last of the coffee, and I didn't realize it, so I had to make more coffee. That's why I was late. That's all. Not a big deal. Uh, right now it's Dia, and I don't know who else. And people will often, and I didn't expect this, they'll watch the video after the fact, which I'm surprised, but I'm happy about. Yeah. Huh? Oh, thank you. All right. Goodbye. Yeah, I can't. Well, it's not that I can't live without caffeine, but yeah, I do drink a lot of it. How are you doing today, Dia? Don't really know how the live chat has a delay. Oh, you don't like, sorry, you don't like how, yeah, the delay is infuriating. I actually, interesting little fact, what's it called? I'm looking into the delay. I might be able to reduce the delay a bit. I'm just not sure. Um, I also would love to have a what's it called? There's like a kill switch in case I do something stupid, like really, really stupid, and I can like shut off the stream real quick. So, ironically, turning that delay on might actually reduce the delay in chat. You're doing fine, thanks. Awesome, glad to hear that. Which sounds very counterintuitive that doing that might help, but it might. So we'll see. Also, if you, depending on your, what's it called? On your preferences, I know Twitch has a shorter delay in chat. The only problem is on Twitch, then you have to go through Twitch, which, if I'm not mistaken, has way more commercials. Actually, you could tell me if you ever get commercials on my stream on YouTube. I don't have it set up for that, but they might automatically do that. Um, so yeah, so there's commercials, and Twitch is 1080p max, whereas I'm streaming on 4K to YouTube. So if you want to zoom in or do anything, YouTube's definitely the platform for that. But like I said, I know the delay on Twitch is better, or less. Oh, saw something on the floor, and I'm like, what am I looking at over there? But yeah, the delay can be frustrating, for sure. The big thing is that people often, I do this too. I'm as guilty as everyone. They'll type into the chat as if there is no delay, and as if we're having a fluid conversation. And because of the delay, sometimes that is not the case. And I could be reading, two different, like, or three different kind of conversations at the same time. And so then I come back to something and I'm like, I have no idea what this is about. And I do that too when I'm in chat and other streamers. So I've gotten used. I'm trying to get used to, like, kind of reiterating the point with a bit of a summary as to what it's about. In case that's happening. I mean, obviously, right now you're the only person here. I think it's fairly obvious what's happening, but I'm just saying in general. How am I doing? I'm doing good. Um, yeah, I'm doing really good. Uh, feeling really good, despite some minor frustrations. Hey, Des. Yes, the delay is much less on Twitch. How are you doing, Des? How was your trip? Trip was kind of well. Uh, you need recovery. Good. I mean, not that you need recovery, but good that it was good. Yeah. I hate it when I go on. I hate this sounds because I don't exactly go on vacation a lot, but whenever I do go on vacation to visit, it's usually to visit family. But I always feel like I need a vacation, from my vacation kind of thing. What happened? Trip. Oh, wait. There was a message and it disappeared. Okay, that's fair. I don't know about you, but for me, driving like long road trips have become harder and harder over as time goes on. Like, and mostly because I tend to fall asleep while I'm driving. Well, when I'm in the car, and it kind of has started to affect me when I drive too. So I'm always drowsy, which I don't like. Um, so I have to do things to keep myself from falling asleep while driving, but it's a lot harder on long road trips. Yeah, I'm one of those people that like the car just kind of puts me to sleep. So, like if I'm the passenger, I will often just like completely, you know, just fall asleep. So obviously, I'm just continuing this painting today. I'm hoping to just finish it today. That would be ideal. We'll see if I can pull it off. I'm a bit tired today, despite everything, but yeah, we'll see. Laura says, and I slept in a firm bed. That was new to me, and we had to rush to an appointment because we ran late. But then he had to sit almost an hour to wait. Oh yeah, I hate that. Yeah, the beds. I know a lot of people don't sleep well in beds, like in new places. I know that's a thing too. Personally, that usually doesn't bother me, but I'm I'm a heavy sleeper and B fall asleep easily, so it's usually not a problem for me. Different chairs and bed and poor setting in the hotel and car for hours. You threw out your back a bit. I can understand that. You know, so I totally get that. That I can see that absolutely. So um I have sleep apnea, which sucks. So I went from being a back sleeper to being a side sleeper because I don't have sleep apnea when I sleep on my side. And for my health, it's better. The problem is I'm really wide. Like I have a wide shoulders. And when I sleep on my side, that's not comfortable and it causes a lot of problems. So I actually tend to sleep on a much softer mattress than I used to because I need that extra like cushion because of all of that. You're used to your PC chair and your recliner. Yeah. I remember when I bought when I started when I started working from home full time, um, I I bought a really expensive you know, like office chair type of thing. It's like a Herman Miller, but a different brand that's, happened to be more comfortable for me. Um, and I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm spending this amount of money on a chair for myself. Uh, but it significantly reduced the amount of migraines I would get in a month. So kind of paid for itself in a way. But yeah, that's what happens when you have chronic injuries from a drunk driver. Honestly, I'm actually surprised that I can spend as much time as I do standing and painting, given my injuries. But yeah, I don't know. It's a lot easier than sitting for some reason. Why am I still playing with this painting? It's not done yet. It's close, but it's not done yet. I want to finish it today. I know it looks done. It's very close. I actually thought I might finish this painting today and finish or start working on another one. Yeah, it's close. I admit it's not there yet. Just wait. You'll see. You'll see. But I appreciate it. I appreciate the input because you're right. I do have to be cautious of overdoing it. Just watch. So I had my one-on-one with Nicholas Uribe a couple days ago, and that went really well. It was a very good one-on-one conversation with him. I'm not going to, say what he said here exactly because I feel like that's, weird. Um, Generally speaking, like if people are if someone's having a one-on-one with me, I'm not going to repeat what they say unless I tell them I'm going to repeat what they say. Um, but overall, just very, very positive, very encouraging, really sweet. Um, and yeah, this was a really good conversation with him. And then This is not so good, but I've been at work. I switched over from working on a PC to working on a Mac, and that has been uh, miserable, honestly. Not that Macs are inherently worse. It's just I'm not as familiar. I'm used to everything, and suddenly everything's different. Um, so I'm really happy to be painting today. Like it just feels so much better to be painting right now. Hey, Asheru, welcome. How are you doing today? So yeah, the plan today is definitely to finish this painting. Nope. That is way too red. Get that out of there. Sometimes one things I'm not a fan of with brushes is sometimes paint will stick in between the bristles and you think you're going in with one color and the majority of it is that color, but then hidden in between is something that something else. It's just like, Dia says perspective just screws me up so bad. And Sujan is here. Hey, all. Good morning. Good morning, Sujan. Welcome. Uh, okay. Perspective. I can talk about perspective a bit. I am not an expert in perspective, but I'm pretty good. I'm okay at it. Like I'm not an expert, but I can manage it depending on the situation. Um, so perspective though can mean a lot of things. What type of perspective are you trying to do, and where is the difficulty? Like, is it perspective that you're trying to make up, like comic book work does, or is it atmospheric perspective, or is it you're trying to do cityscapes and you can't do cityscape? A lot of options there. I don't know if you can see it here, but I'm trying to like soften up some of these hard edges. I don't want these to be quite as sharp as they currently are. Two-point perspective, it's the most commonly used for drawing. Yeah. Um, well, I don't know if it's the most. It's common. Well, I'll definitely grant you that. Um, I mean, are you working traditionally or digitally? Digitally, right? Aren't you working digitally? Yeah. Okay. So first of all, the reason I ask is because a lot of digital tools now have guides, and that's super helpful because let me tell you something. Trying to do a two-point perspective on paper when your paper is here and your vanishing points are out here, really, really challenging. So the digital stuff helps a ton with that. Um, so that's A, first of all, right? Um, Second, I mean, so there's a few things to it, right? I mean, obviously, I'm assuming that like most people like you and most people can grasp the concept of the vanishing point, right? Like all converging lines lead to the same place, that's the vanishing point, the horizon, all that. Um, but what I would say is, and this might not be the most, what's it called? Satisfying answer, because it's not like you know, it's not a one fix for it all. Actually, I have two suggestions, and one is to read books on perspective. There's a few really good books on perspective. I'm trying to remember the names of them off of the top of my head, and I can't. There's one for like comic book artists. It's like Perspective for Comic Book Artists or something along those lines. It's really thick, but it's really good, and it has really good, clear illustrations, and it makes the whole thing pretty good. Sujan says, I saw a video on perspective yesterday. That's great. I'm sure there's great videos on it. I'm not familiar with any. I think, if I remember correctly, what is it? There's another book on perspective. It's like something Inc. on perspective. Jeez, my brain is not working at the moment for the name. He showed a toy car, yeah. I'm sure there's fantastic people on YouTube doing perspective. Absolutely. Framed Inc. That's it. Framed Inc. I think they have one on perspective, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, the name will come to me. It just did. And the other thing, Sujan says, and drawing perspective around the car. Yeah, absolutely. The other thing I will say is, personally, and you might find this helpful, I find it helpful when I'm doing perspective to shrink down my drawing real small and to freehand it without the assist of the program. Because one of the things I struggle with is trying to figure out where the horizon line is. And I find it very difficult to sometimes it's obvious, but sometimes it's not. And it can be hard to figure out where you need to place that horizon line, especially on interiors, right? So I find that just shrinking it down and freehand sketching like the general composition can sometimes be very, very useful as a starting point. But yeah, otherwise I would say I think those two books are good. I'm sure there's others. Those are not the only ones by any stretch of the imagination. Those are just the ones that come to me off the top of my head. The other thing I will say is I take that back. I do have another recommendation for perspective. Another thing that you can do is you can do some perspective studies. And what I mean by this is I would take an image and I would use the image. How can I phrase this in a way that's clear? So I'd take an image, and then I would also put a layer of white over it so I can't see it. And I'd also have the same exact image as a reference point that I can look at. And I'd freehand the perspective of that image. Usually I'd do like a cityscape or something. Just the basics. And here's why. There's two reasons. One, I'm trying to figure out like where's the vanishing points, where's the horizon line, and two, size. Getting scale correct in perspective, really important. And like I said, super sketchy. It's just like, just a block for a building, another block, some very general vanishing points. And then I can hide the white layer and see the layer underneath it to see how like accurate I was. And it's so quick. It takes like, you can do one of those in like, I don't know, 5 minutes, something like that, because it's so sketchy. You're not trying to capture the details. Shujin says, I'm practicing every month once fundamentals of drawing, shapes, forms, perspective. It's helping so much. Absolutely, it helps a ton. It is so useful to do those things. And the thing is, it doesn't require a ton of time if you break it up into something small. And when you do that, it's actually more beneficial than if you did more. But yeah, also those books are really good. If you want a free book, obviously there's free resources on YouTube and stuff like that. But if you want a free book, um, I'm pretty sure you can find JC. No, I'm pretty sure you can find the Loomis books for free online at this point. I think they started reprinting them, but I think there's still free versions online. Um, and Andrew Loomis, it's like illustration or how to illustrate everything. I can't remember the title, but he is not as user friendly as a lot of people. So that's the only reason I don't recommend him first thing. But everything he says is accurate. He's 100% right. It's just it's not always the easiest thing to understand him. Sujin says, I had seen great artists still practice like Andrew Teschler. So inspiring. Yeah, Andrew Teschler is fantastic. And yet that's one of the things, like you're never, this is one of the cool things about art. And depending on your mindset, I assume could be a frustrating thing, but like, um, you're never done learning, right? Um, you're just not. You're not going to ever be done learning. Uh, I mean, you can if you want to be, but most artists I know always want to get better and improve. So you're never really done with learning. Personally, I think is a cool thing, but like I said, to each their own. Um, One of the things I like about it too is that sometimes it's this weird thing where it's like, it's not that you learn something new that you didn't know, which is, I mean, that does happen, of course. But what I'm getting at is that it's often it's like a deeper and better understanding of something you already knew. Um, which is just it's one of those things where it's like it's really hard to transmit that to someone. Uh, Sujan asked, Liad, what did you feel disadvantages about open acrylics? Okay, so I didn't use golden open acrylics. I used a different company, and it was chromatic acrylics, something like that. And I don't recommend them at all. They're not. I didn't like them at all. Like there wasn't anything about them that I could point to that I liked. Um, so and they're not exactly open like golden open are. So I can't really comment as to golden open. I can say that as far as acrylics go, the thing I the main one of the big things I don't like about acrylics is the color shift. Now I understand that people get really good at compensating for the color shift and that the better acrylics have less of it and so on, but it's still there and I hate it. My coffee tastes like chocolate rum. It's so good. Like those chocolate rum balls. That's what my coffee tastes like right now. But yeah, that was one of the biggest issues I had with acrylics was the color shift. As they dry, it killed me. I couldn't deal with it. Oh, I'm getting confused. Okay, let's fix that. Oh, that's so interesting. The way the shadow falls on his folds actually like flips. It's so interesting. I guess the like what parts facing the light kind of shifted. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, and then um, the other thing for the acrylics, this particular acrylic is supposed to have something that helps it stay open for longer, that you can like re-wet it and everything. It just did not work very well. And also it had fumes that they didn't really warn me about, and I got sick from it one time. And so yeah, I'm not a fan. Let's see. Do you still need to paint this portrait? I felt it's complete. When do you decide it's done? Ah, no, I don't. And I can totally understand you feeling like it's done. However, this is there. I have two ways of knowing when a portrait. Actually, I have two ways of knowing when any painting is done. Okay, three. Um, One is a deadline, which I'm sure you've heard that joke before, but it's like, well, when it's due, and it's done then. But there's some accuracy to it, to that concept. The other, um, the other point is if I'm just totally tired of working on it and I don't want to see it anymore. That's fair. Why force yourself? But I think the real one is like, how do you know it's done, as in when is it finished? I think that's what you're really asking. That's what people are actually asking. And I actually figured out, to me, I think I have a very clear and uh, a very clear answer to that, which is the painting is done when I don't know what I need to do next to make it better. Like if I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't know what my next step would be to improve this. Well, I guess it's done. And even if there are places that I know are wrong, if I don't know how to fix them, it's done. Because if I don't know how to fix them, all I'm going to do is like meander through it. Now, to be clear, it doesn't need to be like I know how to fix this, like I know exactly the amount of strokes I need to do to fix it or anything crazy like that. But if I'm looking at it, I'm like, the eyes are wrong, but I don't know what's wrong with the eyes, I can't fix it. If I know what's wrong with the eyes and I know what needs to be done, but I don't know exactly how I'm going to get there, that's kind of normal. And that's okay. There's this weird thing in painting where it's like half the time I don't know how like when I start a painting, I don't know how, like I know I'm going to get to the finish and I know how it's roughly how it's going to be, but there's a step somewhere in between where I'm just like I don't exactly know how it went from this to that. But I have an inclination, like I know the general direction, and as long as I keep pushing towards that, it works. I don't know if that entirely makes sense, because it sounds kind of dumb, like, oh, you don't know what you're doing? Not exactly what I'm trying to say, but there's an element of it where it's like, I know I'm going to get there through here somehow, but I'm not like 100% sure exactly how that's going to happen. But yeah, generally it's like when I'm just like, okay, I don't know how to improve this anymore. That's my go-to. That's my go-to. So I know exactly with this painting, for instance. I already got the comment from Des earlier. Like, why am I still fiddling with it? I'm not. I am putting on the final touches at the moment. And I know exactly what a lot of them are. So I'm not worried about it. Although the wrinkles thing is throwing me for a loop a little bit. Lightly off. The count was off. That's why. I know I've said this on stream before, but my motto has been no fear, which is a very cheesy motto in painting, and also um, an old clothing brand slogan. um, but I do stand by that. I'm not a, and what I mean by no fear is just not being afraid of like messing it up and doing it again and painting again and repainting and like it's erasing something if it's wrong or painting over it and just going like yeah, I don't want to ever be afraid of wiping part of my painting because um I'm afraid I won't be able to paint it again. Even though sometimes, you're not going to get it exactly. And you will be looking back at him going like, I painted it, but it was better before. It happens. Also, it's totally okay to leave a painting and come back to it later. I can't tell you how many times I've like been working on a painting and I'm like, I see all these problems with it. I want to fix it, but I've been working on it for so long and I get tired of it. So I'm just like, I'm just going to leave it for now. I'm going to go do something else and I'll come back to it. And I do that. And then when I come back to it and I see the mistakes and I can still see the mistakes or the issues, but I look at it and I'm like, you know what? None of these bother me anymore. Like, it's really so minor. I don't know why it ever was an issue to begin with. So, you know, sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes you'll see things you didn't see before, and that's also useful. And sometimes you'll see the solution that that you couldn't. Also, if you are working with someone, you can always ask them. And they can getting guidance from people is not a bad thing. So if you're like, I know something's wrong here, but I don't know what, ask for help. If you have those resources. And honestly, with the internet, there's tons of resources like that to find. I mean, like I have my, feedback corner in my Discord, but there's a ton of other Discords and groups and everything out there if you don't want my feedback, there's a ton of that stuff out there. So right now, in case anyone's curious, I am trying to simplify this eye. Because it's in shadow, I don't want to actually go in and paint everything, even though I did actually paint a lot of it. Um, I want to I want to imply a lot more of it. Also, I'm getting a lot of glare on it, which is making it hard for me to see. Ah, I keep forgetting I can't do that. Usually don't have an issue with glare, but some of these bigger paintings are going too high. I need to start lowering them. I know some of these subtleties don't really show up on camera, unfortunately, so I apologize. But it's either this or painted on my free time, which I haven't been able to do lately, so it's this. So this eye, let me see if I can zoom in on this for you all. That kind of works. So this eye looked kind of like a hollow husk before, um, because I had both the bottom and top lid, and that just kind of, and it was really dark inside, so it looked like he had like two, the eyelids and then just black inside. Now it's not perfect. I'm still gonna fiddle with it a bit. Um, but now it's a lot better. Now this eye still kind of has that look to it, but it won't in a minute. The reason this part, in a way, is actually lighter than some of the parts around it is because there's so much bounce. My assumption, I can't know for sure, but my assumption is there's just so much bounced light happening that it makes it appear lighter than the other areas. Hey, Donnelly, welcome. You have no fear to learn. You'll do it. You mean it? I don't believe you, Donnelly. You better prove me wrong. Also, I think you might be on delay. I don't know if Donnelly is actually watching the live. Oh, wait, he is! Matter of fact, I may have been lurking for a while. Nice. You tricked me. Good job. I was worried you weren't watching the live for a minute. But I guess you are. Good. Donnelly has had a history of coming into this stream and his phone or YouTube app or whatever messing up, and he comes in and he's watching the what's it called? Um, like the video on demand aspect of it. So he's like a few minutes behind. Although I think he said he fixed that. I was worried that was what was happening. Mm. 50% of the time, you just don't know what to type. It's so awkward. not a big deal. It really isn't. You're not obligated to type at all. But like I said, if I'm totally down to answering questions. If anybody has questions, like in general, I think that's obvious. But in case it wasn't, I don't mind talking. I mean, that's why I do these. So, but there's no obligation either. And I know it can be hard sometimes to think of things to talk about. But let me oh, Donnelly says it's what you do the other 50% of the time that makes you so cool though, do you? Donnelly, you're so smooth. Well, let me ask a question. Has anybody seen any good movies lately? What do you mean, Donnelly? That's 50% of your stream. That's why I go there. That's the fun stuff. I don't mean it in a bad way. Your stream is very fun. But I love it when you just kind of go off on things and yeah, that's when I feel like you're at your best. All right. Back stretches. Gotta make sure to keep that back stretched. So glad the camera can't go down that far. Wait, hold on. That's a Dia says I haven't, but I'm currently watching Granada's ITV adaptation of Sherlock Holmes. I don't know what that is. I mean, I know what Sherlock Holmes is, but I'm not familiar with that one. Is that the painting that you were doing was based off of that adaptation? Don Lee. I was just saying, I thought you fixed that problem. Oh, okay, Dia. I'm not familiar with that one. How do you like it so far? I like Sherlock Holmes in general. Depends on the adaptation, of course, but yeah. And which is your favorite Sherlock Holmes adaptation so far? I think the first season or two of the um, was it the BBC one was really good, but after a while, it started having some issues. You're fine. You're enjoying it so far. Nice. Okay, this eye is looking really good, except for um, the bag under his eye is too pronounced. So I have to fix that. I have a question for you all. I'm curious what your opinion is on this. And if you don't have an opinion, that's fine. Um, I was thinking about starting a, like a, I don't know exactly. I'll be honest. I don't know if it'll be a Discord or a Zoom call type of thing. But I was thinking of starting one of those, of a thing like that where it's like people can hop in and paint and chat together, and do all that type of stuff. Obviously, people can already do that in like my Discord and other Discords, but this one would be kind of a um, more open, not necessarily around any particular artist, and it would just be kind of like, I mean, I don't know if it would be able to be self-sustaining, but the idea is that it's self-sustained, like not related to me or anything like that. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but Donnelly says I've accidentally put far worse into chat thanks to autocorrect. Very frustrating. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely, definitely had things like that happen in the past. You thought it's much better if you don't have autocorrect on? That's fair. But I know personally I can totally fat finger some stupid stuff into chat. You know, where you're just like you're trying to write I'm trying to write something and I'm just like kind of mashing keys and just like was not really paying attention to what I was typing, and this makes no sense now. Also, I've said some things in different chats before that it was like it was a funny joke, or at least it was meant to be a funny joke. But because of the delay and everything, just comes off like weird, sometimes even creepy, and you're just like, ah, the delay just totally screwed me on this. Also, one time I was typing something in, and as I was editing it, I was like copy pasting parts of it to, you know, to like move it around, and I just accidentally hit enter, and so it just came out as a total mess. Yeah, that's happened to me too. Only says another embarrassing chat mistake I've had on Twitch is having several streams open at the same time and mixing up which chat you're typing in. I've seen that many times. I haven't done that as much because am not as capable of having like multiple chats. Like I can watch multiple streams, but I don't know about like chatting in multiple streams. That's more challenging for me. Thanks, Donley. The guy I'm painting looks like he's reading one of my mangled texts. That's funny. I'm trying to balance between like keeping you know, a limited uh, tonal range and also, putting in these darks for the tree and giving that kind of effect to it. Obviously, I'm not really going to paint in like a detailed tree or anything. It just needs to be like, like many things I paint, the impression of a tree. It's like, yeah, I could see that being a tree. That's really all I need it to look like. The problem is the photo is actually so bad that I'm literally like it's literally an impression of a tree to me as well. And if it doesn't look like an impression of a tree, I'll be sad, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Like I won't consider the painting a failure if you're like, yeah, I didn't get that at all. Like, okay, well, next time I'll try and do better with that aspect of it. I suspect that drinking coffee at 10 p.m. is probably not going to help my sleep tonight. The problem is that after a full day of work and everything, and I feel like I need the caffeine to be awake enough to paint and stream and everything. Before I do this, uh, let me look up something real quick. Ah, that's funny, Donley. Donley says, for the most part, I've noticed that caffeine does much to wake me up, but I'm assuming doesn't do much to wake you up is what you meant. Um, but does work pretty well as a diuretic. That's funny. Yeah, I get that. I know it affects different people differently. Um, I wouldn't say that it like keeps. Actually, I wouldn't say it keeps me up at all. Honestly, it's more of a like preventing me from being too sleepy without it. I guess I don't know how to describe it. Luckily, that other issue hasn't been an issue for me, so I'm lucky with that. Stupid YouTube heart. Yeah, I know, right? Freaking hate that thing. Oh, thank you. I was doing this stuff over here. Sorry about that. It's an unfortunate thing I forget to do sometimes. So the thing about this particular silicone thingy is that unlike the other ones I've used a lot before, they're more flat. Um, you know, this one, for instance, it is very much like, I mean, it's got a bit of a bow to it, but you can see it's very, very flat, right? Um, this one is more egg shaped, like there's a fat part in the middle versus the edges. And for smoke, for something like this that's kind of irregular, it works really well because it allows me to put down sections that are like, you know, basically irregular. It gives me that a bit of that irregularity. Conley says, I'm working on other stuff while you work. It was so quiet, you had to make sure you were still on. Yeah, I'm still here. Sorry, I'm just focused, you know? And if I don't have anything specifically to talk about, sometimes it's hard to keep talking. But I appreciate the prompting because I should probably keep talking a little bit here and there. That is the point of the stream, sort of. So yeah, right now I'm just obviously painting back into the smoke. Um, you don't want, I mean, I don't want it to be too overpowering. Like I don't want it to look like he's like exuding a ridiculous amount of smoke. Also, because of the way smoke fades, part of this I want to kind of just like make it hazy, because as smoke dissipates, it just kind of, you know, like becomes a bit hazy and then just completely vanishes. It's funny because once I start using these tools, um, like the different scrapers or paint pushers or whatever, I never want to stop using them because they're so much easier than brushes in a way. They're not really because you definitely do not have. I should say me. I do not have the control with the fine nuance with them that I do with brushes. But for a lot of things, it's just they're so easy, and cleaning them is so easy. Really, I'm just lazy. You appreciate trying to make cleanup easier. Power to the lazy, smart artist. Seriously, they're so much easier to clean, and also they're also easier for certain aspects of mixing paint because you don't get any paint trapped in your brush. So you don't have to, like, even if you're not like me and you use what's it called, solvents regularly in your painting, um, you still have to, like, clean your brush in the solvent or in some other way, right? But not with that. With that, if you want to, you want to mix a different color, you just wipe it off and start mixing, and you can get to that color real fast. So I really like it. All right, we're like really, really, really close now. Oh, damn it. I was hoping I wouldn't have to put out any more paint today. Um, Never mind. gonna get all these like super, super subtle things in now. Okay. Put it over there? No, put it. I don't want to drop it. Good night. Don Lee is saying hi and probably will say goodnight as soon as the catches up. He says bye. Yeah. Video still reads as live, so at least you're not behind, unlike earlier. Yeah. I know. I'm sorry I'm not talking that much. I'm really just putting in all these final touches. And so it's a lot of like little things, just trying to get them all in there. And unfortunately, I suspect that the camera can't even pick up some of them, but there's, there's not much I can do. I mean, there are some limitations. So I like to paint with a lot of I like to paint very like brushy, with a lot of brush marks, and often referred to as painterly or loose. But I also like soft and very hazy because I feel like those are things that contribute a lot to atmosphere, and I love having a lot of atmosphere in my paintings. So I always try and balance the two. And it's not always a very obvious or easy thing to pull off because these two approaches um, run counter to each other to a degree. You don't want to have all one or the other anyways, so having a variety is good, but yeah, it's definitely challenging to figure out when to do what. Hey, Des. Impasto. Love. You're here, but can't listen for now. Okay. Hi, Des. Dresden. It's a Dresden, everyone. I'm gonna try and put him on stream. We'll see how he does. Baby boy. Hi, little boy. Yeah. See. Face scan. All right. Now minimize it so he can't see himself on screen. Because he's dumb like that. Oh, it's a baby boy. Oh, I love you. Oh. Oh, he's such a good boy. Yeah. No, Dresden, don't look over there. There's no one there. You don't have to worry. There's no cat living in my monitor. Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, he's so cute. He's getting ready to jump. I can tell. Like he's starting to get freaked out. Yep. So silly. So ridiculous. Dresden, that's me. You're looking at me in the screen. Nothing scary here at all. Exactly. And he literally is like, when I put him down, he's looking up at the screen and he sees me moving and he's like, who's that? Me. I do think that the face cam thing struggles sometimes because like there's all these paintings of faces behind me. I think it tries to like latch on to some of them sometimes, which is funny. I used to have a bottle of alcohol in here so that I could um get drunk. No, kidding. Isopropyl alcohol because my glove it would help what's it called? Dry out my gloves faster. In a silly way, it makes me feel good when the face recognition tech recognizes one of my pieces. Yeah, I know how you feel. I know exactly how you feel. Don Lee, I know exactly what you mean. Because you want it to, you want it to like it's validation that it looks like a face. Mhm. I straight up don't remember what I was doing. Oh well. So you think your most proud moment was when Pinky's Bogart uh, barked at my drawing of him? LOL. Oh yeah. That's I think better than the recognition software. I'll be honest, a lot of the facial recognition software is pretty trash. If we're being honest. Um, so I think that's a uh, much better, you know, validation. The reason I say that is because like I literally had what is it? I've had facial recognition stuff like this one, for instance. It tried to track onto my Punisher skull shirt once. I'm just like, there's not a. I mean, I guess it has the parts of a person, of a face, but like, come on. but I do know what you mean. I definitely, and obviously some of them are better than others. Like, some of the phone ones can like detect when people blink and stuff like that. So you know that they're doing a bit of a better job than this thing is doing, you know. So the face recognition tech respects the Punisher. Fair. That is fair. Yeah, I think okay, it's not done, but it's almost done. We're like we're really we're really taking it to the finish here. Like 100 like absolutely to the finish right now. Okay. His face needs a little his eye rather needs a slight adjustment here. His eye is more like lidded. I opened it a little more as I was trying to get all that detail in there. And while I don't have to stick to the reference that closely, like, you know, it's okay. Like, if his eye is a little more open or less open, it technically doesn't matter, but he's got such a good look to him with it, like, kind of half open that it adds so much. I feel like I really want that in there. Okay. Sorry if my hair gets in the way now, but at this stage, yeah, that's just like it might happen. I'm literally doing a lunge to try and stay out of the camera, but also get close to the eye. Annoying little gnat flying around here. Technically, I think this guy has, I think he probably has, you know, brown or dark eyes based off of the photo. But in order to get a little contrast, I'm adding a little bit of blue to his eyes. And I'm not giving him like light blue eyes because that clearly is not his eye color, but you know, just a little something there. Tristan. Oh, you're so dumb. Alrighty. That's pretty much done, I think. maybe not, but I don't know what I need to do to it right now. I can't see it. Like maybe I'll look at it later. This does happen. Sometimes I'll look at a painting later and be like, oh, of course I need to do, A, B, and C still. But at the moment, I don't see anything else. It's pretty much done. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's done. Nice work. Yeah, you get blind to things in your work after a time and you look at it before going back. Yeah, absolutely. You definitely get used to seeing it. I am lucky. I get to look at it on screen as well, which also helps me sometimes see things that I wouldn't otherwise see. So that can be very useful. Um, you know, but yeah, sometimes you just don't see something, you come back to it, and you're like, oh my God, how did I not see that? That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. I know I said I'm done and now I'm fiddling more with it, but it's pretty common too. I do that all the time too. I'm like, I'm done. Let me just keep working for another hour. I don't really want to keep working on it for another hour. I think it's done, but yeah, it's easy. It's easy to keep working. I wonder if Des is back or not. I know she said she can't listen, so maybe she can't. She still can't, which is fine. Okay, this is his hair. I messed it up a bit too much. Now I have to go in and clean it up again. Lee says, I remember watching a streamer that would look at their video cam in black and white mode. You always thought that sounded smart. I'm not sure who did it. Was it Pinky? I think Pinky may have done it. I know I've done it once or twice, um, but I don't regularly do it. I think I'm trying to remember if Arthur Gaines has ever done that. I think he may have. But yeah, that's a very useful tool to look at your artwork in black and white, to see it, to see the values. Also, doing a mirror and flipping it can also be very useful. You can do that in person. You can grab a mirror and just, do that. That can be useful. Or even like looking at it at an, like you put the reflective surface down like this. So you're seeing at an angle, but it, flips it can be very useful as well. Hmm. Okay, one more thing I'm going to add. Nope, that's going to be too bright. I'm trying to put the little glint in his eye, but I don't want it to be too strong. That's way too strong. See? I tried and I messed it up. But yeah, it's way, way too bright. I want a glint, not, I don't want him to have glowing eyes? Although I do enjoy painting glowing eyes. I've done a few paintings with glowing eyes and they're really fun. But this is not one of them. A very small amount of the paint that I put down for the glint is still like there. And it essentially functions as the glint, only much softer than what I originally put down. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna call it done. I should stop messing with it. I should give it a break, come back to it and see how it's looking. I was going to paint another painting. Um, what's it called? I was going to like move on to another painting if I finish this one soon enough. However, given the fact that it's already 11, I don't think it's soon enough or early enough. So I think I'm just going to be calling it done and calling it a night as well. I'm probably going to fix his hair a little. Ah, his hair is bugging me now. I'll leave it alone though, and come back to it a little later, either tonight or tomorrow. this part is just, it needs just a little, nah, but whatever. Yeah, definitely go back to that. But otherwise it's done. So yeah, so going to call it a night tonight. A reminder to everybody, I do stream 3 times a week. I stream Monday night, Monday night, Wednesday night, and Sunday afternoon or evening. That is Texas time. So yeah. But yeah. Thank you everybody for stopping by. I appreciate it. I have a Discord if you want to, anyone's watching and wants to connect through there. I have a feedback corner. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. Do all the YouTube-y things. You know, whatever. People already know. I don't need to tell them. But yeah, that's all I got tonight. Have a good one, everybody. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the chatting and keeping me company and talking art, and look forward to doing it again on Sunday. Have a good one.